Hi, I'm Eric Friedman. I'm the Executive Director of the Mad River Valley Chamber of Commerce, and I am here on the Tailgate for our next edition of Tailgate Talks with Anna Nasser, the owner, proprietor, whatever of A. Nasset Consulting
And training.
and Training. A. Nasset Consulting and Training, formerly Stand Up Resources.
Yes.
But I just want to make that clear for people.
Yes.
So, Anna, when you started your career, did you ever think that you'd be sitting on the back of a 1972 Datsun in a cemetery talking about your business?
Absolutely not.
Right.
Considering I never thought I would live in Vermont, or be in the field that I'm in, or a myriad of other things. So having this spectacular view as my work background today it's all right with me.
Yeah, not too bad. So we're here up on Bragg Hill at the South Facein Cemetery, the historic South Facein Cemetery. And if you notice, there's actually Revolutionary War veterans here, and it's pretty cool.
Amazing.
Right. So hopefully we won't end up here soon. But
Right.
someday it wouldn't be a bad place to spend eternity, I guess. But
When I visited Vermont before I moved here, this is one of the very first drives I did, and I stopped here. I probably have not been here since then.
See?
And that was like 10 years ago. So, yeah.
this is where we watched the eclipse, actually, which is
amazing.
a really good spot to do
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
But beautiful foliage behind us. And we're here speaking with Anna today about a couple of things. One, her really intriguing business and what you do, as well as the Stand Up for Safety program, which you helped to inaugurate here in the Valley a couple years ago. And you're on the chamber board. There's so much to talk about. This is going to
Yeah.
be content rich.
Content rich, and when I work from home, so my office is anywhere. So we decided instead of coming to my house, plus I'm super private, so that wasn't going to happen, why not have this be the office view today, which is a pretty good place to be.
Well, we're glad to have you here. So, Anna, you do not have the typical story about how you ended up in the Mad River Valley.
No.
So it wasn't the skiing. It wasn't, it wasn't all the outdoor adventure. Tell us a little bit about how you ended up here in Happy Valley.
Well, I moved here from Washington State, from Port Townsend, Washington. It'll be 10 years next year. And out in Washington, I owned an art gallery and was loving my life and doing that. And unfortunately had an experience that continues on of a man I don't know stalking me and threatening to kill me, all sorts of really heinous things. So eventually I closed my business and for my safety, and then I eventually relocated here, just thinking I would kind of really disappear into the mountains and...
Literally into the woodwork.
Yeah, right, exactly. And so we were very fortunate to have conviction of him in 2019, and it resulted in one of the longest sentences in our country's history out in Washington State.
For stalking.
For stalking,
Yeah.
yes. And I really took that as a thing to be like, well, I don't want to be the exception. I want this to be more of the standard. So I just started to get invited into spaces to speak, whether that be, actually all over the world at some points, and, hopping on planes left and right, doing things of that nature, educating law enforcement, prosecutors, advocates, military, colleges around the crime of stalking. And then it grew into other things too, around violence prevention, legislative changes, victims' rights, all sorts of things. And eventually I really kind of started to look around and go, I'm doing all this stuff outside of my state, and I'm not really as connected to my community as I would like, and I really miss that. And so that led to me joining the chamber and us meeting.
Oh, I thought you joined the chamber just because you wanted to meet people.
Well, that too, yes.
Oh,
I did
okay.
want to meet people. I was like, I'm just not involved, and I want to be involved. I want to meet people. And so, yeah, that's how I ended up joining the chamber.
Yeah, and I remember when Anna came in the first time, she referred to herself as one of the pajama people that was looking for an excuse to get out of their house to get dressed.
Yeah, and at that time before the pandemic, it was, there wasn't as many pajama workers, not as many people who were working remotely. And
You were on the cutting edge.
I was on the cutting edge.
Yeah.
I was prepared for the pandemic, let me tell you. And so, so joined because of that, and then we went into the pandemic and didn't really get to meet many people as I would like. And then as we came out of that, that's what really started to launch this concept of the Stand Up for Safety campaign. So when I joined the chamber, I didn't think to myself like, oh, I'm going to get lots of business out of joining the chamber. It was really just, I want to be involved in my community.
Yep.
But then we kind of created this campaign. We were at a chamber mixer, and I was talking to Farrell from 1824 House and said, Throughout my life, I've worked in the service industry in a myriad of ways, and even as I was building my business, I was working in the service industry.
Yeah.
And what if we looked at gender-based violence prevention? So gender-based violence is going to be domestic, sexual, stalking, human trafficking, all of those types of violence.
All that good stuff.
All that really fun stuff.
Yep.
All that just lighthearted stuff. My job's dark, people. I'm sorry. And I don't really put a lot of... Sometimes I forget how dark it is, and people are like, Anna, could you not say the stuff you say when we're at dinner? I'm like, why not? Let's normalize the conversation.
Right.
And that's part of what the Stand Up for Safety concept is like, how do we normalize these conversations so that people who are our coworkers or our community members, our friends, our family members who might be experiencing some form of violence start to understand that there are systems of support, that they're believed, that their workplaces care, and then we also built that bigger to say, what about what our guests are experiencing?
Yeah.
Or what about what our guests are possibly, like if they're harassing workers, how do we respond to all of these things? So it became really like a taking care of one another, taking care of our guests, and making sure that we have safety in response to guests who are maybe behaving inappropriately.
Yeah, I mean, when we had that first workshop a couple of years ago, it was up at Sugarbush, and it was one of the largest turnouts we've ever had for a chamber event. And we had like 70 some odd people there, and not the typical people that would normally go to a chamber mixer or the annual meeting and things like that. It was more frontline staff, and it was really eye-opening to me. Working in the service industry at Mad River for 25 years, I saw a lot of it. Yeah. And frankly didn't know how to handle a lot of the things that came up, and I wish I'd had this training a long time ago, because it would have changed how I dealt with certain situations.
Yeah, and that's part of it, is that people can say, oh, that doesn't happen here, oh, that doesn't happen here. It happens everywhere.
Right.
So instead of saying like, oh, this doesn't happen, it's like, how do we start to create response and safety? And we've done that, through our trainings, through the postering that we've done in bathrooms throughout the valley, of restaurants, inns, gas stations, anywhere we can.
Oh, we should have brought the posters here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit it in, so it's going to be showing it here right now, right?
Here. I'll be holding a poster.
And so what are can you describe those?
Yeah, so the poster is basically saying, we're a community that stands up for safety. If you're feeling danger of any kind, please contact somebody at the the front desk, at the bar, wherever it might be. And also, if you're looking for resources, you can call 211-741-741 as well, or you can scan a QR code. And that QR code goes to a page on the Chamber website that lists resources in our county, in our state, nationally, and even internationally, so that if somebody is experiencing, let's say, domestic violence, and they can't safely talk to somebody at that point, they can get some of those resources that they can access later. And that's really important. And then also on the flip side, not just for somebody who's a potential victim of those things, for somebody who might be an abuser, to seeing that postering all over checks them as well. And we like that. So it's, I really believe that...
I forget about that part of it.
Yeah, it's a dual messaging, and I really believe that people have the capacity to change and sometimes need that visual reminder.
Yep.
Yeah. And then it's cool. We are, to our knowledge, the first community in the country to launch a campaign like this. You might see posters for like a domestic and sexual advocacy center at like Starbucks, but it's for that local one.
Right.
So we really took this on as a community. And then it was really cool. Last week I got to go down to South Padre, Texas, to a small conference put on by the Conferences on Crimes Against Women, and present on this campaign. So I got to speak to about 30 people attended.
Nice.
And walk them through kind of how we created this, go through a bit of my slide presentation, and just talk about how I walk that through, so that those folks who are advocates, law enforcement, and prosecutors can take that back to their communities. And
what was the response from when they were looking at it, from that a community would do this?
It was great. It was really good. It was, everybody, it was people from, let's see here, Moab, Montana, Wyoming, California, so people who, are in similar tourism areas, and have just been like, yeah, we're already doing this work by going out and talking to a school or going to talk over here, but what if we looked at it as a full community point? And so it was really cool to see the response and hopefully grow it from there.
Yeah, and I tell you, of all of the things we've done at the Chamber, I think this is one of the initiatives that I'm kind of most proud of, that it's not something that a typical Chamber of Commerce would embrace. And, when we started this and, we were talking to some other local organizations around, chamber-type organizations around, and shockingly run by women, that were like, oh, we don't want to talk about this. Like, this isn't something that reflects positively on our community. I'm like, well, you're just sticking your head in the sand because you know what's happening here. And
that was a question I actually got asked last week while I was presenting was, what about people who are like, we don't want to be involved in this because it makes it look like bad things happen here? Well, bad things happen everywhere, so why not acknowledge that and do something about it? And I know for myself, as somebody who's, a victim and survivor of multiple forms of gender-based violence, I'm way more likely to want to go to a community that I know has things like that.
Right.
I love how many people come up to me and be like, I saw your sign in the bathroom. I'm like, it's not my sign, it's our community's sign.
Right.
But, and the different sponsors that we've had over, the last couple of years we've had this of, Mad River Glen, Sugarbush, Lawson's.
Waitsfield, Champlain Valley Telecom's been a big supporter.
Absolutely.
Mad Taco has been a big supporter.
Mad River Barn, Afterthoughts. I think that's everybody now, but it's been really cool. Oh, East Warren Community Market. And then a lot of those folks have actually had me come in and do small trainings for just their staff.
Right.
Also really cool. And that was something I was able to encourage, all these folks I was speaking to last week. I was like, go to your chamber. Yeah. Like, think outside the box. Like, think about, like, Waitsfield Telecom, for instance. Like, this might not directly affect them, but it does. And so it's really, it comes back to, like, why do you become a member of the chamber? For your community. Why do you participate in a campaign like this? For your community.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's, like I said, it's one of the kind of the initiatives that has all these other side benefits that unintended consequences, positive consequences that have come up. And I know that there's chamber members that join the chamber because of it.
I love that.
It's it's a cool thing. So I appreciate everything that you've done for us to help.
Well, thanks for turning a small conversation at a mixer into this campaign that has been really amazing, and we want to keep continuing to grow.
Yeah, I mean, I think this program and how it came about epitomizes what the Chamber of Commerce can be at its best.
Absolutely.
And so, I'm like I said, really, really pleased to have that opportunity to talk to you about this.
And I was so pro Chamber that now I'm the VP of Chamber.
Right.
So
yeah, you're a heartbeat away.
I'm a heartbeat away from the president.
And the way I see Sean eating those pierogies,
I know.
He might be right here soon enough, right? Hopefully he won't be watching this right now or anytime soon. So we have some workshops coming up. We're changing up how we're doing the Stand Up for Safety workshops. You want to talk about that a little bit? November 8th, I think it is.
I forget what date it is.
What we're going to do is we're going to AI it right here, too.
We're going to put those dates and we're going to run it down at the bottom.
Yep.
So we're going to be doing 4 sessions over the next year, one every couple of months, and kind of breaking down different pieces of issues that you might face in your workforce or what you want to learn as a community member. Like, that's the big thing is, it's not just about our businesses, it's about our neighbors, right? It's about everybody. So learning about gender-based violence, learning about how to recognize those things, learning about response, different places for services and access points for help here in our community, learning about barriers, learning about domestic, sexual, stalking, human trafficking, learning about all those forms of violence, and bystander training. All sorts of things. So I'm breaking it down into 4 one-hour segments over the next year, and we'll have those dates for you.
Yes, absolutely. And you can check out the chamber calendar. Is always they're there, and it'll be in the newspaper and things like that. So keep on the lookout for it.
Yeah.
Trying to think what else we wanted to talk about. You have so much to talk about. One of the things I wanted to mention. You wrote a book about your experiences.
I did write a book. Yes, I did. It's called Now I Speak.
And this is where we go like this.
My book is called Now I Speak.
We are so unprepared for this.
We really are. You would think that, like me doing the work I do, I'd have everything with me. No. It's a beautiful fall day. I'm enjoying it. So my book
We're
is
lucky
called-
you're not in the pajamas.
You are lucky. So my book is called Now I Speak. You can find it on anywhere that you purchase books. Happy to also, if you email me and you live in the Valley, I will deliver a copy to you signed.
And everything.
I mean, you still have to buy it, but yeah. But I have done that before. I've dropped books in people's mailboxes, and always happy to share my story with people here in the community. And I just think that, we're a community that has really stood beside people over many, many years here who have experienced forms of gender-based violence. And I know I stand on the shoulders of some of those, like Sue Russell, and continue that legacy forward. And so you can also learn more about my work at annanasset.com. Is a great place to look at some of the stuff I do, and always reach out to me if you want to know how to be involved.
I mean, that's one of the things I've found really amazing is how personal it is with you, and that that I know that there's business owners that know you personally and will call you and about specific things, and that they trust you to to keep there's a lot of HIPAA and just not respecting people's privacy and things like that. And it's one, and I think that's one of the things that's kind of interesting about talking about these sorts of issues is that we want to talk about it, but people have to have the right not to make things public, and for very good reason and all of that. So we don't necessarily know the impact that this program's having. We know anecdotally because we've heard enough stories. And I was like, it's like I think everyone else was like, well, if we prevent one abduction or one beating or one rape or one whatever,
it's all worth it.
It's worth it, and we know that that's happened.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, I always really say to anybody, it's your right to disclose or not disclose. It's no one else's right to do that. I hold anybody's story that's been shared with me incredibly private, and I just, I encourage all our listeners, take these things seriously, but understand and respect the needs of a victim and survivor to make the choices that are right for them.
Right.
I made the choice to become public when I realized, this could benefit others. But for years, I was completely silent.
Right.
My friends knew, but a lot of people had no idea when I closed my business, when any of those things were happening. And so we always really want to make sure that we respect people's rights to privacy, and especially at a time when they've already been disrespected by having something horrible happen to them. We want to give people respect.
Yeah, well, I really appreciate you coming to the tailgate. Anything we didn't talk about that we wanted to?
I think we're good. Hopefully you can join us for one or all the sessions coming up.
Yep.
And what a backdrop today.
Yeah, it's absolutely awesome.
Thank you.
And we really appreciate you coming, and we'll get you to the tailgate again real soon. Maybe in the winter.
That'd be fun.
It'd be a fun one, right?
Yeah, exactly. When you can do the interview from anywhere, why not?
Right, we have skiers jumping over us
Yeah,
and
exactly.
stuff.
Yeah.
Well, Anna, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you folks on the tailgate again real soon. Have a great day.